can't knock the hustle. And if you gotta get in place, then we gon' put your business on display. Grab a seat with Neesha for a minute. And if you got the goods, we can talk about your business. She know what it's like to make a move independently. And I don't fake it's like that. We've been trusting God like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display.
Well, hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We are here again with Neesha's Network with We Work Wednesday. And as many of you guys know, March is the month of Women History Month, Women Her Story. And we decided for Neesha's Network for the month of March to interview some amazing women who are making great strides and have some amazing stories. And so as many of you all know, you've heard me talk about this for the last couple weeks. I have been on Clubhouse app, probably like on steroids. I have met so many phenomenal people. I sit in these rooms and I'm like, wow, it has been really exciting for me. Number one, because I am a networker. Number two, because I love relationships. That were God's idea. And number three, sitting back and learning so much and finding people with kindred spirits and people who line up with exactly the same type of heart's desires that you have is absolutely a gift. And so today I met this beautiful soul. She's a beautiful lady, Lisa Mcmillan from Greensboro, North Carolina. I met her on Clubhouse. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. I'm excited to. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here. I appreciate it.
Well, Lisa, one of the things that really encouraged me about her story was how much she gives back and how much she didn't let adversity stop her from creating new opportunities and memories for people. And the name of her business is I Am Custom LLC. And before she actually tells us a little bit about her business and her story a little bit and what inspired her to launch the business, I would like you to tell me, Lisa, just a little bit about yourself personally, what you've done in your life, the things that you have aspired to do, or the things you've accomplished, your children, how many grandchildren, if you have them. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you're in Greensboro, North Carolina, where you're born and raised there. Share with us.
Yes. So I am Lisa Mcmillan, and I have 5 children and 3 grandchildren, or rather 2 grandchildren and a bonus child. I have been in Greensboro all of my life, with the exception of about 2 years when I moved to Charlotte to go to law school. I've been married 3 times, divorced twice, once, and I have an entrepreneur.
Wow, a serial entrepreneur. Can you hear me okay, Lisa?
Yes.
We got a little bit of a connection issue, but that's okay. So I Am Custom. Give us a little history and background of what made you launch this business.
So I launched the business because I've experienced, and I've seen others experience, where people trying to put you in a box or wanting you to go along to get along or to be more like the others. Yet there is no others. Each one of us are individual. And I was reading in the book of Exodus when God told Moses to go and talk to Pharaoh and talk to the Israelites. And Moses says, well, who should I say sent me? And God said, I am. And that, that's enough. The end. I am. Tell them I am sent you. And I started thinking, oh my goodness, yes, I am custom. So God, the I am, created each one of us. No one person is alike another. Even identical twins have different fingerprints. And ever since that epiphany, which I organized that business and incorporated it in May 2016, I have been back to make sure I'm doing my life according to me. and not what another mother, what another minority woman, not, divorced person, so on and so forth. And I have embraced the fact that I am beautifully, fearfully, wonderfully made, and I want to share that with other women who have similar experiences and stories.
Wow. So that is really phenomenal, actually. And as I'm thinking about it, you said you're a mom of five children, and then you said you went off to law school. So are you an attorney? What was your career look like, or were you a stay-at-home mom?
So the interesting thing is, I am not an attorney. I actually left law school when I found out in a professional responsibilities course that I could not be who it is I am, which I am. I went to, in raising my children, I got divorced from my first husband roughly 20 years ago, and I had four kids at that time. And I had been a stay at home mom at that point. And it was like I foster care system, and I did not have a support system. Although all of my biological family was local, but it's a crazy situation. And I was taken into foster care with my brother from my mother when I was 4. And from there, it was just me, myself, and I, teaching myself, training myself, trying to glimpse how I'm supposed to operate this life. So when I got divorced and had these kids, a friend of mine said, "Well, you ought to open daycare." I'm like, no, because people might be as crazy as I am. But I did. I ended up getting into childcare, out of necessity, because I didn't have support, and there was no way I could get a job and support 4 kids with. I couldn't make enough money just coming from, straight off the gate. And then I was homeless when I was 17, so I dropped out of high school. So here I have a GED, 4 children, no job. Yeah. So I did very well in childcare, and I actually attribute that to the fact that I have a passion for children that's like unmeasurable. Like it's just crazy. And so I always wanted to love on children and families, and I wanted to serve women who were like me, who did not have, traditional support system or no support system. 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. I took kids with me to
Wow.
church, Bible study, Sunday school,
Wow.
yeah, whatever, because I just didn't want to, it's challenging to already go out into the world. And my mission statement was to provide families a loving, safe, healthy environment where you can go and you can live your life pleasurably or through work without a worry. And I know that I did that because even when times were challenging for other providers, I was never without kids. All 3 shifts, okay?
Wow.
And I mean, yeah, I'm super thankful. So something did happen where I ended up leaving childcare, and I was like, well, maybe I'm not, getting the respect in community or from, professionals because I don't have a degree. And what was crazy is at that time I was earning about $7,000 a month, but I just felt like I was being put through some crazy changes. So anyway, I decided to go to college. I just thought I'd apply because at that time I was with another husband, and he had graduated from college. And I was looking at him like, okay, if he can get out of college, let me try it. And I'm just going to keep it real, okay? I'm not perfect. So I did. I applied to North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, NCA&T for the fam, and I got in. So I started A&T at 2000 in 2008, January 2008, and I was 36 years old. And at that time I had 5 kids. So my one of my reasons for doing it was to make sure I could be with my children because, if you've ever experienced drama or trauma, or know people who have, especially in their childhood, it's not easy to trust people, especially
Yeah.
with your children.
Yes.
Yeah, so I said I wanted to be with them. So I was like, it ended up being a win-win because I was going to school full time, full time. Like I was just wanting to soak it all up. I did graduate from A&T, and then I said, "Oh my God, I want to help people. I just got to help people." And I thought law school would do it. Mm. But once I got in there, I realized law school is not designed for people to help people. And I knew I didn't want to be a social worker. Okay, I didn't want to take on emotional baggage. So I did end up leaving law school after a year and a half um, because in that professional responsibilities class, and I just remember it hearing this professor say it just like it was yesterday. Well, when you are a lawyer and say your cousin calls at 1:30 in the morning and you answer the phone, and if you start answering any of his questions, you then become his lawyer. And you just can't tell people this, you can't tell people that, you have to be really careful. And I started scratching my head and I said, this is not who I am, right? When I don't have, don't ever student loans, I tell everybody. So I decided that wasn't for me. It was not for me to be handcuffed like that. It is for someone, okay? But for me, I'm about sharing because it's so many of us that have no idea. Like the things that I didn't know about how to move about this world. I just had to share it. So that's how I got to law school and left law school.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think that that speaks volumes to your passion and to basically that you have a heart for the people and seeing that they are successful. And one of the things that I remember reading about, there's a lot of feedback, so I'm not sure what that is, but I just want to make sure I can hear you well. Um, we've been having a little bit of trouble with our streaming lately, but you all be patient with us. But one of the things that I really realize is that you are a support for the people, and that you've all already talked about how you love supporting children, buying homes for people. You've been the midwife for labor and delivery. You've been the person that's done hospice care to care for the families. You've just encouraged women to raise their families, and you've given to the homeless and provide provision for them. So, what makes you so passionate about that? I heard you say about the you being in foster care. I know that had to drive something in you to say, you know what, I'm going to make sure that people make it. But what makes you passionate about, the I am custom and really causing people to have the support that they need?
Well, the experience of being taken from my mother, it was, I have a vivid memory. I was 4 and my older brother was 5. And he and my mother were like tight as glue. And I can still see an old white lady who worked for social service and a white man, a sheriff. I saw them pulling and prying my brother from our mother. And me and my mother weren't connected. And there were some reasons I ended up finding out why later. But to see that and see that amount of pain, um, I just immediately decided that, okay, I got to protect my brother forever. So we actually got taken from my mother because we used to be left in the house by ourselves. And I have 2 younger siblings. And at 3 and 4 years old, I was cooking. I was fixing pork and beans and weenies. And, you know, for whatever the reason, my mother was who she was. And unfortunately, she was an alcoholic and died, at some time later. But so from the time I can remember, I was a caretaker. But when I saw
Wow.
my brother in that exchange, it triggered something. So you know how they say, genetics loads the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger. It triggered something in me. And so for all of our lives, I was his mother really until he got really grown and way bigger than me. So even when I was in high school, and I was always for the underdog. I used to teach a blind girl algebra, and I still don't know how, but I taught her algebra. I used to take up for this other girl in high school named Shelly. I still remember her so vividly. Her own sister used to tease her and pick at her because she behaved a little different. You know how some people can have a look that's not embraced by society. Um, and so I that was me. I just always thought, well, it's not right for people to, you know, just mistreat people. And thankfully, I was not bullied ever. And I think I was just kind of blending in. You know, I didn't stick out and things like that. So no one really ever bothered me. But I always tried to shield other people. Um, when I was 8 and 9, I actually got molested, and I remember thinking that, well, if this got to happen, I'd much rather it not happen to my little sister. So as I kept growing up, I was always wanting to help people feel better about life. So when I got into childcare, it was mostly single women. And so I didn't want to turn them away. You know, daycares would close days, Christmas, Thanksgiving, things like that. But if my parents didn't have babies, I'd still keep them. I didn't charge them extra.
Wow.
I kept them on the weekends because it's already challenging to register kids for school, go buy the supplies, and do the laundry. To not be able to feel like you can go and just do a job to support your family, that was terrible. I've had clients. I had a client and I had an employee. My client, she called me once 4:30 in the morning and said they're about to take my baby and she couldn't find her baby daddy at the time. So I got up, went over there, and the thing is, God has been so amazing because it wasn't like I was thinking about it. It wasn't like, should I go over there? I just got up, went over there, and in an operating room while she has a C-section. And it wasn't thoughts at all. Just like, okay, let me come. One of my employees, she was a single mother, and she had her third child, and I was in the labor and delivery room with her because she didn't, have a baby daddy or whatever. And I knew what I went through. I have 5 babies, and I brought everyone home by myself. And I did what had to be done, but it was not fun. Okay. It was challenging. So I brought that employee to my house and, took care of her other little 2 little children while she, took care of her newborn. So she was actually at my house a couple of weeks. And it was just wanting to provide what I know I would have loved to have had.
Wow. Let me ask you a question, Lisa. If you guys have joined us, we're here with Lisa Mcmillan, Greensboro, North Carolina native, and she is sharing her story and what she offers to the world. The name of her business is I Am Custom LLC, and that everyone has, God designed you exactly the way you're supposed to be. And Lisa is an amazing support system globally. She offers support globally to encourage people to be who they want to be and to do what they want to do in life. And so, Lisa, I wanted to ask you this question because sometimes when you're caring for so many other people, how did your children respond to your home always being open? I know a lot of moms who do that. My mom did it. But how did your children respond to that? Did they follow in your footsteps? What was their response throughout the years?
Okay, funny story. My oldest child, he was 14, 15 at the time. I went past his room once and I said, Jeffrey, why is Wynn still here? This Asian child had been at my house for 2 weeks.
Oh my
And
goodness.
kids were
You
at
were
my house.
multicultural. You
Yeah,
were really
from the
global.
yeah, and he was from the neighborhood, and kids were just and I cooked. My grandfather gave me this nickname Big Mama when I was a baby, and I'm telling you it was a self-fulfilling prophecy because that's just who I was. So I guess I really didn't notice when spending the night or they hid or whatever. So Jeffrey said his dad kicked him out. Can he stay here? And so Wynn was like, please, Miss Lisa, please. My dad is evil. He's mean. He don't even like black people. And I was like, okay, well, I don't care. And So my kids, I think because I didn't, I didn't make somebody separate or I didn't make somebody special. They were all special. That because they were kids, and the environment was just, oh, be kids. But I was like, I had rules. Like I had my rules at my house. They were big mama style rules. Like, okay, you eat here, you can clean here, right? Oh, I pull up from the grocery store. I walk in the house. I don't care whoever's here, go out there and get the stuff, right? The adults in these kids' lives had problems with it. My kid don't come over there to work, and I'm not talking about daycare kids that I kept, but um, I remember my brother. I don't send my son over there to do no work. You working him all the time. Da 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 da. But can I tell you, he stayed at my house. He wanted to stay at my house. Now, as an adult, he's 26, and he talks about the good old days, even though they had to sweep, mop, take out the trash, like they had to work um, to contribute. Now, my oldest son, he is a math teacher and a dean of students, and he texts, "Mama, oh my God, these parents, they won't even. I have to call the children to get them up. How did you do this? How do you get the parents to do that?" And da, da. I said, just focus on the child, because you don't know what the parents are going through, right? A lot of times we make judgments, and it's hard for him because he knew I was a borderline helicopter mom, or I'll say a mini helicopter mom, because if something happened at the school, yeah, if something happened at the school, oh, I stopped the day to go up to the school to see what's going on with my child.
Come on through, old school
Um,
moms. They don't make moms like that anymore, girl.
and it got to be so crazy. I was doing it for my clients' kids too. So one of my clients, her daughter peed on herself or something, and she called. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't get off work." I said, "Oh, I'm good. I'll take her some clothes up there." Um, I didn't let my kids were going on field trips. If it was gonna be out of town, oh, I was going with them. So it was just, well, they're mine. I didn't want to like give them over to the school, and I also wanted the school to understand, they got somebody that's gonna look out for them. You don't have to, feel so bad and da 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 da. So I think with my kids being understanding that they were loved, like, and they wanted to welcome other kids into the fold. Even now, my oldest, like I said, he's 29. I have a daughter who's 27, a son who's 22, another one who just turned 21, and then my 16-year-old daughter. My 27-year-old daughter, when I was in law school, okay, and she was in Greensboro and I was in Charlotte, she called me and asked me if I would take one of her friends' new babies because the friend didn't want the baby. And I'm like, I don't even know this girl. So she's like, but mama, she needs help and da da da. So long story short, I did end up getting the child. He was 3 weeks old. And this is when I started to think it was going back to that experience with my brother. Like, okay, this little black boy, he needs a chance, right? He needs some opportunity.
Mhm.
So to answer that question, my kids have embraced it and they have become mini me's.
That is so wonderful to hear. Well, you guys, I really, really know that you guys are enjoying this interview with Lisa Mcmillan, and we just have a couple more things. She is a go getter, she is one that is globally offering support to the world. So, what I would like to do is for Lisa, for you to quickly share how people can get in contact with you as our interview comes to a close, how people can get in contact with you. You see, you guys, she's got stuff going on even right now, handling the household. So,
Look,
Lisa,
I'm sorry, my battery was dying. I'm sorry.
that's okay. That's okay. You know what? It's real life. It's real life that's going on. And I love when real life happens because we can embrace it and be like, these are not people that are superficial. These are people that have real life stuff, real life going on. Okay. I got a tongue twister, you guys. So Lisa, what I do want to do is, If you all have not paid attention, Lisa has survived single motherhood. She has never given up. Psalms 27 is her life scripture. And even if her father and mother abandon her, the Lord will hold her close. It's only by grace of God that my 5 children and 3 grandchildren are living, thriving, and loved. So how can you encourage everyone in the last few minutes? Please tell them where they can find you and your website and how they can find you and locate you. If you need a support system, if you need a global support system, Lisa's in North Carolina, but she is making impact all over the world. So Lisa, how can you encourage people today and share with them how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, thank you. So for the global reach, I am an outside of the box thinker. Okay, I'll try to make this quick. I bought a house once to do daycare in. And then after I bought it, the building inspector said, oh, well, you can't keep kids in this back room because you can't get licensed because the egress was too tall. Okay, it was too high off the ground. And I was like, well, I done bought the building. So within 15 minutes, I was like, well, what about if I just bust this wall down in between these 2 rooms and make it one big room and then that front exit, right? And it worked. So globally, please reach out to me on Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All of those handles is I am Lisa Mcmillan. So that should be easy to remember. The organization, I do things as a team. So my website is called Team Lisa, so that I can encourage every person to be who they are as a part of our team, but you are individual. So you can reach out to me also on my email. My email is lisamcmillan@teamlisa.net. And I would love to engage you. And I am a super researcher. That's the best thing about law school. I'm a super researcher and will be happy to connect resources where you are. If you need further assistance that I can't give you, I mean, I just love doing it. I love being that person. And did I forget something, Neesha? I'm sorry.
No, you didn't. Actually, I believe that's what connected me to you, is because you are a plethora of resources and you love seeing people get what they need. And just kindred spirits with Lisa, how she gives, and keeps on giving. So if you guys are interested, look up Lisa on all social media platforms. I am Lisa Mcmillan, teamlisa.net. She's not doing it alone. She's gathered resources and people to join forces with her. And if you want to give to teamlisa.net so that she can continue the work that she's doing, please reach out to her. I'm just blessed to know you, Lisa. And I love on your Instagram how you will take the word of God and begin to make it applicable to even real life situations. And that really is such an encouragement. So I have really enjoyed talking to you today. You guys reach out to Lisa Mcmillan on all social media platforms. Check her out. Go to her website, teamlisa.net. See what she's doing, from buying houses, you guys, to taking in the homeless, you guys, to starting daycares and doing the law school and saying they're not doing it the way I need to do it or the way God has purposed me. So then she went on and did another thing. She is a serial entrepreneur. She's an amazing woman. We enjoyed hearing her story this month for the Her Story Month, Women History Month, the month of March. Thank you so much, Lisa. If there's any last encouraging words you can leave with everyone, please feel free to do so now.
Thank you so much. Please, please, please remember, be you. There is other you, and God makes no mistakes. So when you're trying to be someone else, you're telling God he didn't do a good job. So just be you and be
Oh,
custom.
that's so good. Be you and be custom. You guys, see you next week on Neesha's Network. We Work Wednesday. Women, Her Story. Women are telling their story to us for the month of March. God bless you all. Thank you. See you next week.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh.